Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keep Gaming Reviews. I'm your host, Lan Mind, and I am joined by the one and only Miamo CG. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir.
And welcome back, Johnny BoomBotz. He is home with a brand new tattoo. What's up, John?
What's going on? What up, gentlemen? What's going on? I'm back. I'm happy.
Welcome back
Thank you.
in
I'm
your
happy to be
home.
here.
How do you feel?
Oh, so good to have like my
Everything
chair,
back,
my
the
all my
camera,
stuff. Like
yeah.
just be back. Like instead of being like, oh God, I gotta move, guys. Blair Witch in it. It's raining on me.
Yeah,
Watch
yeah.
out.
And then you
I'm good.
streamed for the first time yesterday. How was that for you?
I streamed twice yesterday. Actually,
Yeah,
I did
actually, you did.
the first one. I did the one last night. It was amazing. Like it was great. Like it really felt like I was. The first stream was a little off because I was trying to get back in the groove, but it wasn't bad though. I mean, I feel like I'm getting back in the groove. By last night, I was good to go, and I'm just right back at it again. So
That's awesome.
I'm happy.
So we are here to review episode 2 of Marvel Studios' What If. And in this episode, you see Black Panther, voiced by Chadwick Boseman. I probably pronounced that wrong. Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
It's like Chadwick Boseman. Like what the hell was that?
No. I didn't mean to
Chadwick
butcher
Boseman.
So, guys, this is our second episode. I know there was some mixed reviews from all of us on the first episode. I want to start off with John because John had some really deep thoughts and feelings about this episode and the series overall. So I would like to let John get off some steam. What are your thoughts of this entire series so far? We only got 2 episodes.
Man, that was a good crack.
What are you looking forward to the rest of the season?
All right. So let me start off with
I hate this show.
It's not no. I will not say that because I'm not a fan of the anime. Like I'm not a huge anime person to begin with and a huge cartoon person to begin with. So that's where part of it bothers me a little bit because I think that if my wife and I were saying too, I think if this was all live action, I'd be in this so hard. I would be like glued to the fucking TV. With that being said, way better episode than episode 1. Episode 1 though, because again, the first episode was just kind of like a rehash of the exact same thing we already had, just a little bit of change here and there. This one had a really good story to it. Like it was really interesting to see how it went because they changed everything around. I was taken back. Spoilers ahead, by the way, for those of you who haven't watched it yet. Please wait till you watch it. I was taken back when I first saw Thanos, and he was just like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" Like, hold up, like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah,
like that shit caught me off guard. So I mean, overall though, all around, it did catch me off guard. Howard the Duck was amazing in it. So I feel like they gave a good story. They gave a good overall to it. The jokes were great. It was so weird to see everybody out of character because I'm so used to, we had 20 some odd movies of characters being the way they are, and even in the first What If, they were still themselves, but this changed a little bit. Like they didn't change their mannerisms. They only changed their lingo, like their conversation wise. Yeah. This one, it was a legit overhaul. Like Nebula had a blonde hair. It was just like I was just like, what the fuck? That's Nebula? Like, hold up.
That's because she wasn't tortured by her father.
Right.
So she's like regular now.
And then you see the what do you call it? The Collector looked like the Hulk. Like the Collector was just like overall like brolic as shit. I caught me off guard when they used not Krang. What's his name from Thor Ragnarok? The Rock dude, the one that's always got the jokes. That keeps Korg. When he started swinging that hand, I was just like, that's definitely got to be Korg's hand. And then he was like, I took this off of whatever creature he is. I took it off of him or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, poor Korg. Like they definitely just like butchered him. Like, but it was the Collector show that they had everything. Like they had the dog in it again. They had a lot of overall stuff, and it was good to see the whole cast, like literally the whole cast from Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty much in there, except for like 1 or 2 people maybe. But it was good. It was a good episode. Again, though, my issue was the fact that it's not live action. It was cartoon. So for me, that's the one that held me back with it. But it was good. And I don't know if you guys noticed, one thing that bothered me was you see T'Challa with the Black Panther necklace.
Yeah.
But when he first leaves Wakanda as a kid, though, he doesn't have that. And then they say that he brought him back and it was destroyed, but then you find out it wasn't destroyed. It was all a lie. But where did he get the necklace from, though, if he never ran into them again, though? Like, That's what caught me off guard, though, is how does he have the necklace to be able to go ahead and break out? You know what I mean? Like, there was just that little bit of a gap. And that's the only thing I could really find if I was looking for issues with it. Like, real issues that I could find. Like, where is the continuity, whatever the fuck, continuity with that, where it's like, you don't explain that part, and it doesn't make sense to me because if he never went back. But I mean, overall, though, I mean, not for me, but amazing show.
All right, Chris, what are your thoughts, man? I know you just watched it, so your brain is fresh with all the thoughts.
I freaking love this episode like a lot. I really did like this episode. Probably like it's a great freaking episode to me personally.
Yeah.
From the beginning, the way it starts, where it starts off very similar to how Chris Pratt's character was. Why am I having a brain fart of his character? But how his character was introduced. Star-Lord, there you go.
Yeah.
How his character was introduced, but the same character came and had a different reaction, was like, yo, I know this guy, it's freaking Star-Lord, bro. The mad hype, like calling him my lord, doing all this stuff like that was amazing. Then like Johnny mentioned, the whole Thanos thing, however you pronounce his name, was I was like, wait, what is going on right now?
So weird, right?
Where is this coming from, right? But I love how in this show they put parallels to stuff that we already know.
Yes.
So like even that part where Thanos turns around and is like, I'm mad. It reminded me of Hulk.
Yeah.
Where he just turns around and was like, yo, I got this. Yeah, like, he was like, yeah, I got this. And starts fighting. The only crazy part is he's fighting people who were his, like,
the Dark Order
subordinates, what's going on? And they were working for the Collector, but having the Collector be like the bad guy in this was actually super dope because he had all that stuff in his arsenal, and it was showing how, like, if he is already a piece of garbage in the regular stuff, but if he wanted to really like take over, he has all the stuff he can use to.
But I found it interesting
really
that
go
he had
crazy.
Captain America's shield there too.
He had Captain America's shield. He had Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
He used Hela's helmet.
Yeah.
He had all that. He was going crazy.
It was so dope to see.
But overall episode, like even just connecting kind of the characters we knew from Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, Rocket wasn't in it.
Yeah,
Groot wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Gamora wasn't in it.
Yeah,
but they did. They
see
did
Peter Quill at the end.
Right, they showed Peter at the end. They showed
Drax at the bar.
Drax at the bar.
Drax, they did an amazing job with Drax, but there was with those jokes when he's like, "Oh no, you really did save me." He's like, "We don't know. We don't take cards here. We cash only." He's like, "Your money is no good here." He's like, "No, seriously, we only take cash." I was like,
and
bro.
You know what's funny? That Dave Bautista didn't even voice the character. He was
there was really no need. There's really no need for it though, because
he felt offended. By the way,
I get that.
His tweets.
Really? So he only had like 5 lines. Why pay him that much money to say 5 lines? I get why they didn't ask him to do it. Now, if his character played the bigger, you know what I mean, like. That's different, but like it would make no sense because I'm pretty sure they put a lot of the money into the animations because the animation for this show is
it's top
tier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they put a lot of money into the animation. They already had Chadwick on here, voicing his character. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Evans didn't even do his voice, so I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So it's like you can't really be mad at that, and Steve's character played a bigger role in that episode than Drax did in this episode, so you can't really be mad at it, you know.
I was shocked that they had what's his name at the end of it, the father. It left it open
that was
for
great.
More.
Right, that was great. That was another part that I really enjoyed because it's like, this is what would have happened if he never really
got taken by the Ravagers
in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And it even showed Yondu in a different light, which I love.
Yeah.
Instead of being the super dirtbag that he was, he's like, we're saving people instead of. I mean, we're called the Ravagers, but we're actually helping people instead of.
Yeah, he said it too.
Trashing them.
That person you call on your Earth, Robin Hood. And I was like, yo, that's so cool.
Robin
like,
Leach.
Yeah, they recognize, these things that the Earthlings use,
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Even the tie-in at the end with them going to Wakanda. And everybody meeting each other.
Dope. Yeah.
The whole thing where Thanos is like, it could be that, but it's random. talking about she's like,
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
genocide. He's like, yeah, but it's not because it's random. I'm not choosing them, you know.
Yo,
Like, I love
it was
that.
so
That was
cool.
great. Like, his
love
That was
relationship-
an ongoing joke was hysterical.
Right, his relationship with Gamora and the whole thing was pretty dope. Like, them
Yeah.
just all mingling at the end was awesome to me. I loved it. It was a great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I absolutely loved and adored this episode so much. It was so much better than the first one, and I really enjoyed the first one, the first episode. All around, like you can tell by having T'Challa, Black Panther, being captured by the Ravengers, it changed everything. Like there was more peace in the galaxy because of having him be part of the Ravengers and them saving the poor by stealing from the rich. It wasn't for personal greed, and I think that's why you didn't even see Groot and Rocket Raccoon, because there was no bounty to get this guy like there was for Star-Lord, Peter Quill. And I was kind of confused why we didn't see Gamora, because she is the daughter to Thanos, right? So it's like we see Nebula, but we don't see Gamora. Why was that? That I didn't understand. So I was a little confused by that. I wish we would have saw more. What?
With that, think about it this way though too, because if you think about it, Nebula, Gamora, and like let's say Chadwick or whatever, let's say Black Panther, what about that? They're all roughly the same age, including Peter Quill. Mm-hmm. So if you really think about it though, Peter Quill was taken around the same age that Gamora was taken. So now if Black Panther managed to get what you're saying, that he would have never taken her. War, and there was no reason to take her.
You're absolutely right.
So
that
that's why
sense.
it wouldn't have been taken.
Also,
the other one, she said Nebula was adopted.
Yeah,
so,
which we knew,
Right. So
and
that's
the relationship that Nebula and T'Challa had was
like a
cha-cha.
I kind of liked it, yo.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
I loved like
and
all
they made him kind of a
them.
ladies' man too, because the pink shorty was throwing it at him. You feel me?
Well, yeah. I mean,
she was throwing it at my mans. You feel me?
She liked what he said about keeping people in cages. She said so. Like she kind of related to him, and then he.
Chris, don't
like,
take that the wrong way, Chris.
What?
Don't take it the wrong way. She wasn't into that kink shit, being kept in cages. That wasn't what he meant.
But then she, he gave her the access to like, okay, now you can, have your revenge kind of thing. But I did love the chemistry between Black Panther and what's his name again? You mentioned it, the leader of Yondu. I love that chemistry they had. Him calling him his son. A lot of these take backs from what we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and all that. I love the Thanos thing. I just thought it was hilarious. When I saw him come through, I'm like, oh my, what? Like my mind blew. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I just thought overall, like even at the end when they went to Wakanda and he was like, oh, my son is home, and he was like, this is my family too. Like they all came together. You would have never expected that to happen. I wonder what we're gonna see in the next episode, because actually Black Panther recorded 4 episodes from what I heard. So he's voicing his same character in other episodes. So you're gonna see him again in other parallels in the universe. I don't know how they're gonna incorporate that, but it's gonna be really dope to see.
My wife was telling me that apparently the one for Guardians of the Galaxy with him and the Guardians, it's not finished. Like they didn't finish recording it before he unfortunately passed. So I don't know how they're gonna. I really don't know how they're gonna handle that.
Also, they are gonna have a separate one with the Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I believe so, but I'm not sure though. Like I really don't know where they're going with this, because it's all about what if.
Yeah, I just thought it was very well put together, and I love the artwork. In the beginning I was like, there's not too much action, but then towards the end, when you saw like Thanos fighting the Black Order, you saw Black Panther fighting the Collector. I just thought it was so well put together. I really enjoyed the story, and like even John said, like the jokes, it was very funny, very comical. It didn't feel as serious as the first episode. That was my whole thing. The first episode was a little serious. This one was more laid back and more enjoyable.
And I love like there was like the beginning of it too, when he was like, oh, typical Star-Lord, and he's like doing all the fighting, and then you find out that they're actually working together.
He was like, punch me, but faster.
I was just like, what the fuck?
It was so funny because they give you the idea, like kind of like the first episode where you know, they kind of like went shot for almost the same exact thing that happened in Captain America: First Avenger. This one, they give you the beginning, but then it just
after
changes.
that, it's off the rails.
Yeah, it's just everything changed, and I loved it. I'm loving the series, man. I look forward to the next one. Even my son, we watched this one together, and he was like, "Dad, that's it." I was like, "Yeah, we gotta wait till next Wednesday." He's like, "Oh, I can't wait." And that's how I feel. I can't wait to watch another episode, man. I really am. I'm fully invested. Oh, you see, you see, John. I was really.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm really interested to see what happens. And now that we're getting closer to Shang-Chi, it's like, and this is canon. How does this tie in? At what point do we see, or do we see something at the end credits that kind of like mix with this? I don't know. I want to know how they bring this into the cinematic world of live action.
I don't think they're going to, as far as with Shang-Chi, I don't believe. Because I feel like this is going to be, like we had said last time too, I feel like this is their experimentation in a way of going into the multiverse and trying to expand the multiverse from Loki.
Well, the next episode is Loki's. It's called Loki on Earth, or Loki in Earth. So he will be in the next episode.
Right. Okay. So like the basic part is too is that this is expanding the multiverse though too, where everything could possibly be different. Yeah. Now, is this going to be a canon, as in canon, where it's like, because it's hard to do canon for this and include it as far as the MCU goes, because the MCU has been only within this one world. We know that Shang-Chi is going to another country, but Shang-Chi is still within the same world because of Abomination. So we know Abomination and Hulk. We still know that it's still taking place. Mm-hmm. Right, we know it's still taking place within Doctor Strange and everything else too. Mm-hmm. I think that if it's going to take if anything, if they're even going to interact and bring live action to it, it's going to be with Multiverse of Madness. And I know that I keep on putting a lot onto Multiverse of Madness, but it's just the fact that we have no idea. Like, there is so much that's still up in the air for Multiverse of Madness. After WandaVision came out, and you see her being the Nexus being, and you hear the kids in the background, Loki has the multiverse. There's just so much that they're building up to that it's like Multiverse of Madness needs to come out, because that's going to be the one to be that drop that bombshell of like, okay, so we are getting this, and this, or we're not getting this. Where the fuck are we going? Because again, we got to realize too is that look what they did with Iron Man and stuff too. They drop hints for stuff that's not going to come out for 10 years. Right. So we have where my thing is, a lot of times where we started with Iron Man, we started with the original first 8 movies. They didn't even finish that story until 10 years later, 15 years later, when they finally finished it and wrapped it up. And you were still touching on stuff from back then. I think that a lot of us is the fact that we're realizing that we want that immediate answer and everything else too. But yet, it's a slow build. Like, this is a whole new generation of movies and a whole new phase that they're doing, and their phases last a while. So this what if might be building something that we might not see for another 4 or 5 years. So we don't know how, like, it may not be 4 or 5 years, but we don't know how long it's going to take before we go with it. Or are they going to keep it where it's going to be MCU, Disney Plus, and that's going to be a whole world where people just jump back and forth between movie and, TV and cartoon. I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for it, though. I really am.
So my thing is, they can honestly keep this show going for many seasons if they wanted to. It's animated. It's easy to tell different types of stories. You can, and if the stories work, you can connect them. They could keep this going for like 7-8 seasons, no problem.
Yeah,
if they want to.
Without a problem. Yeah.
2, the easiest way for them to intertwine the animated stuff with the live action is the Beyonder that they used to narrate.
Jeffrey
in the
Wright.
first episode,
That's
in the first episode, he mentions how he doesn't get involved. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Right. You know who else says that? The Eternals. Right.
Yeah.
And also in the comics, this specific Beyonder, I keep forgetting his name. I promise I'm going to get that. Not right now, but the specific Beyonder that this one is named has gotten involved multiple times in the comics with actual Marvel characters, where he and the other Beyonders do not like him at all because of that, or because he gets involved with characters in the Marvel universe. They get mad at him because they're not supposed to. They're just supposed to be watching. They're just supposed to be chilling,
just the
letting
watchers,
everything
that's it,
unfold,
yeah.
and that's it. So I think he's the easiest way for them to intertwine this animated stuff with the live action, because they can easily find somebody, use the same guy, same voice actor, same everything, and be like, yo, like maybe he pops up in Eternals and it's like, listen, I know you guys,
love that.
you know, I know you guys don't get
actor.
involved, but I don't get involved either. But some shit is going down, brother. Like, we need you guys. You guys are the strongest ones here. I've watched you guys for years, just kind of chill and do what we do for this spot, but we need you, kind of thing. Like, it can easily be incorporated if they wanted to.
I have a random, and this is totally off the wall. Do you think that they would do it where multiverse, where they're like, oh, by the way, there's an animated realm. Like, you
they can.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it can happen though, and I know Lou was about to give that look, like, really, dude. But no, because it's happening in the comics. No, because it's happening in comics too. It's happening where it's kind of like where the comic book character goes into the real world, where the real world turns into a comic book character.
Right.
Where you turn from like live action to cartoon or vice versa. Like, if they would do that, where they would just take like take the cartoons and then be like, they transfer them into another realm, and like some shit goes down intergalactically where space time, whatever the fuck it is, and then all of a sudden, bam, like they're live action, and even they're just like the watchers, even like, what the fuck, like this is not the world that I've been watching.
It could do what your favorite movie. You can do what your favorite movie ever did, Space Jam. You know.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the best way, probably the best way to incorporate this is into the Spider-Verse and bring one of those Spider-Man into, No Way Home.
Spider Pig. That's all
whatever you want.
Bro, they bring in they put in Loki, Gator Loki. If they bring in Spider Pig into No Way Home, you just see fucking Porky Pig come flying in on a web. I would fucking die in the theater. I'd be on the floor in the theater just dying.
It would be dope, right? I think, but that would be the only way to bring in a animated character into a live action. And I don't know. I think that would probably work, but I don't think they'll do it.
Look at that. No Way Home. You just cross it over. No Way Home. It's a what if. It's into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They introduced the cartoons and everything. Bam, bro, you just did it. Bro, you get hired by Marvel.
But this is the thing, right? Because Doctor Strange is in No Way Home, and then Doctor Strange has the multiverse, and this may potentially introduce the other Spider-Man that's been rumored for mad long. I know Chris doesn't believe it, but I feel that if this is it, if you guys are going to do it, I mean, we're getting Shang-Chi, then we're getting Eternals, then we're going to get Spider-Man. This is probably the best and only way. I've been saying it for a long time. This is the only way that you would do this to introduce to the live action of other universes. And that's the only way I can think of it. Because if you do it with multiverse, right, people are going to be a little bit confused if they haven't watched the Loki show. But if you saw the Spider-Man movie, they'll do a little bit more of an explanation, and then we go into Multiverse of Madness.
Well, I feel like Spider-Man movie though, and I could be way off on this though. I have a feeling that because of the fact that's going to lead into multiverse, I really do feel like they're going to leave Spider-Man No Way Home with like a cliffhanger at the last like 20 minutes of it, where you're going to get thrown into the multiverse, because that's where it's No Way Home. Because the idea, think about even the titles.
Yeah.
No Way Home. Like, he gets thrown into the multiverse. He meets up with these other Spider-Man and everything else too. There's no way back home. They have nowhere to go. So what happens? Doctor Strange has to come in, help them out, and then he introduces the multiverse, be like, bro, I could travel between multiverse and everything else too. Scarlet Witch could come in. We have we have Nightmare, etc. like that though, or like, because maybe Nightmare is mentioned in that one. Nightmare was mentioned in Loki. So there's so much that, and again, I don't want to do this whole entire like we did with WandaVision, where it's like, oh, it's Mephisto. Like, but at the same time though too, it's like just going by titles alone, you have the Multiverse of Madness. So it's going to be insane. It's going to be a total shit show of craziness going on.
Yeah.
Because you're naming it Multiverse of Madness. And you have Doctor Strange, you have Nightmare who lives in interdimensional. They finally made it where you have the Nexus being, you have the interdimensional worlds. Spider-Man No Way Home, and we know that we've seen the other two Spider-Man on set, rumored and everything else too, supposedly. We'll let Chris just live on his own with that one. But we have it rumored for that. So that would be the No Way Home, the idea of just give them like, and I've been saying it since day one, I don't think they're going to have a big part. I think it's only going to be like a 5 to 10 minute part, because it's going to have to do with Mysterio and the other ones too, like all this stuff, whatever. And it might be where you might even see them fighting in different worlds, whatever like that, and it might just go back and forth and then they join together. Who the fuck knows? But I definitely feel that this is going to be Like you said, Shang-Chi might even mention it because Shang-Chi, you have Wong. So, which is going to possibly bring in Doctor Strange or at least have him talk about Strange because they're in the same. Yeah. Everything's got to be mentioned. So, it could be a slow build into it. And Loki is just a way for everybody that's like not up on it to kind of be like, oh, by the way, multiverse, this is what you got to do. Right. I don't know. I mean,
all this stuff that's going on in these shows, even What If, kind of just gets me more excited for the movies that are coming out even before No Way Home. You got Shang-Chi and the Eternals. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these are the first movies that are going to be, especially Shang-Chi. I think they already said this is the first movie that is pretty much after the snap, outside of Far From Home, of course, that we're going to see that after the snap, after the whole Kang thing happened with Loki. This is the first movie that's going to be after those events took place already in the MCU. Eternals, I think, is going to be all over the place. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because they're going to go through time, right? Yeah. Right. But for especially for Shang-Chi, it's like, yo, this is the first time we're going to see other characters involved in what happened after the whole snap and after the whole multiverse thing started with Loki as well.
Chris, let me ask you a question. I don't remember the character's name. Do you remember the old lady in Spider-Man where she's like a dimensional Spider-Man and she introduces the other Spider-Man to Peter Parker?
Oh, you're talking about
Aunt May?
No, not Widow. It's a lady Spider-Man. She's like a queen.
She's always in a web.
Yeah.
Hold on.
But she's like a dimensional Spider-Man.
It's too, like Madam something.
Yeah, Madam Spider-Woman or some shit. Yeah, and she has control of those dimensions. Madam Web. Doesn't she have control of these different dimensional Spider-Man too? I've seen her come up in a lot of the cartoons.
She's all blind and paralyzed. Madam Web is still a legitimate psychic. Unfortunately for Spider-Man, she has elected to use powers to help him. She can use her mind to alter people physically.
Because I remember seeing her a lot in the cartoons, especially in the Fox series in the 90s. And then even after that, where we saw for the first time on screen Spider-Man 2099 and all that.
To me, she would be better used connecting the whole Sonyverse that they got going on.
Ooh, that's
where good. Venom and Carnage and all them can come into the MCU and back and forth type of thing, vice versa. I would rather see her in that realm for Sony to do that, right? Yeah. Before seeing her in the MCU, because they already have enough multiversal stuff going on, especially with the whole Loki, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, all these characters. So it's like, save her and help Sony out a little bit. Throw that to them. But yeah, that'll be dope.
So before we end this episode, we need a score from 1 to 10 from each of you. We'll start with John. John, 1 through 10. What do you give this episode?
I would give it honestly 8 out of 10. I'm not a fan of it, but I would give it like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
That blows my mind. Doesn't it blow your mind, Chris?
No, because again, I'm going to keep saying the same thing over and over again. Just because
I feel like this is the whole Christian Bale thing all over again.
No, because I'm not a fan of it does not mean that it's bad. It's very good. It's just nothing that I would watch again, though, because I'm not rating it according to like how much do I love it. I'm giving it as to what it is. And in all reality, What If, they are really doing an amazing job. Like I said it last episode too, and I wasn't a fan of the last episode either. They are doing an amazing job. The stories are there. Everything is there for it. I just don't really enjoy it. I can't stay with it like that. But I can definitely see how anybody that is into that kind of cartoon, that kind of anime, that kind of like in general, 100% would be into it. The same way that I can tell you right now, though, like there are some movies that I watched that are complete shit. Look at Mario. But yet I'll still give it a high rating because of the fact that I enjoyed it, though. This one, no, I'm giving a high rating, though, because it's overall good. I just don't enjoy it.
This is insane. All right, Chris,
I understand his point, though. I understand his point.
Help me understand. Where do you give it?
I'm going to give it a 7. No, let me stop. I am going to give it a 8.8 out of 10.
Whoa.
What? Okay. Why 8.8? Like you couldn't 2 points and give it a 9?
Nope.
No, because it didn't have the continuity for T'Challa's necklace, so it's got that 0.2% right there. That got to come out.
Screw it.
0.2 ounces of that.
I just like messing with Lou.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I absolutely love this, as you guys already know. I'm looking forward to episode 3. This is just a great overall series, man. And I don't understand John's points, so please forgive me. I can't.
When do you ever understand my points, bro? Never.
I don't know this, and we have to do a review of Free Guy too, because John thinks it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and so we
No,
gotta talk
I did
about
not.
that too.
I said Free Guy was the best movie that came out this year so far.
Yeah, and you said it was the funniest, like
It
the
is.
best.
This year
the
that came
funniest.
out, it's the
I
funniest
probably
movie this
chuckled
year.
like 5 times.
Bro, I went through the whole list of movies that came out for this year, and that's literally the best one out of the fucking
All
movies
right,
that
we're
came
gonna
out
have
this
to
year.
do that list. So
I'm gonna talk to you right after you get off this podcast. I'm gonna fucking pull that list up and talk to you. Ass.
You pull it up. Anyway, that's gonna be it for us here. If you guys enjoyed this content, we drop a new episode every Thursday following the series from Wednesdays. Chris, what the fuck? I can't concentrate. So, listen, we drop a new episode every Thursday. If you have time to watch us on YouTube, go to youtube.com, put in Keep Gaming Podcast.
Go to YouTube.
If you don't have the time to watch us on YouTube, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast. Just type in Keep Gaming Podcast.
Keep gaming.
And remember, we go live every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Keep Gaming Podcast. Myself,
Eastern
Johnny,
time, 12 p.m.
me, I'm a CG. Hey, he's fucking me up. But you guys, this is what it is all the time. So
Mute the mic.
we're gonna stop it here before it gets worse. I love you
Stop
guys.
here.
Until
Keep
next
gaming.
time, keep gaming. Peace.
Keep gaming, yeah.